Hello and welcome to the first Varsity Sports Live of the 2017 football season. Tom Nieman along with Jason and Andera, and we welcome you to our new digs here at Midco Sports Network.
Is this the first show?
This is the first show we are doing here, so that's exciting. And we got lots of live football on Midco Sports Network this year, college football, high school football. We just had West Fargo and Minot. We'll have a live football game every Friday night, a high school game. We got Northern Sun Conference games on Thursday nights. We've got all your FCS games coming up on Saturday with UND and USD and South Dakota State. So
ramping it up this year.
Here we go.
Here we go is exactly right.
Let's get to this game we just had here, Jandy. It was West Fargo at Minot to kick off the big school season in North Dakota. And that is Creighton Rudolph, and that is Lofton Klabundi on a 3rd and 21, and Minot out early.
Coming out of this season, you would like to have quarterbacks with some experience. Both these teams have that. They played as juniors and now as seniors. You see Creighton Rudolph got them, Minot started early, and then Andy Gravdahl was outstanding.
Great move. 41 yards there at the end of that one. Gravdahl ties it at 7-7. Brett Davis for a touchdown to put Minot in the lead 14-7 in the second quarter.
Yeah, at this point in the game, Minot looking pretty good. That West Fargo defense that was so good last year, little bit of a flexibility in the first half.
That is Gravdahl to Joe Pistorius. PAT was no good here, though. It was 14-13. Minot still in the lead, and then when it got dark, West Fargo just before the half, they would get a field goal to make it 16-14 Packers at halftime. And West Fargo kind of took over in the second half, though, Jandy.
West Fargo asserted that they have the physical players to really make things happen. Rudolph played a heck of a game for Minot, but West Fargo, in the end, showed they were more game ready coming out of the gates.
Well, Brett Davis had a late touchdown there to make it 29-20. They tack on another one. Jared Franick had a couple of late touchdowns for West Fargo as they pull away in the end to win it 36-20. Peyton Lamore had an incredible interception in this game. He made a couple of big plays. They had a touchdown called back. Minot had a late touchdown called back that would have gotten them a little bit closer, but West Fargo comes from behind to beat Minot tonight in our first televised game of the season.
All right, we actually have Greg Ankers and Brian Shawn ready on the field. They had just called the game. Let's hear from them to wrap things up for Minot.
And Coach, quite the victory tonight. Was it as much a surprise for you as I think it was for a lot of us involved in this game tonight?
Yes. No, I'm going to, it's like, how can you not know? Well, you don't know. We had a scrimmage last week, played a couple teams, and was really impressed. And I told the guys the first day of football, you know, we had lost so many guys, and when you have people coming back, it's easy. And, you know, Andy coming back really helps. But the first day of camp, I told him, I said, I went home and I cried. And it's because I missed we had these humongous linemen last year, and you know what? These guys, they're real businesslike, and they keep improving. And we have really improved from, you know, the 14 days ago or whenever we started camp. Defensively, we're not as good as we were last year, but we learned to, other than that Lamore, I think it's Lamore is his name. Oh, man, is he fast. So covering him was an issue, but other than that, I thought we did really well, tackled way better than I thought. And then Andy makes plays. We've got 4 or 5 guys that can catch the ball. And in the past, you know, if you only have one receiver, they double a receiver. You kind of can take them out of the game, but you can't take 4 out of the game. So as long as we don't turn it over much, I think we can score with teams. That's not my kind of, I would rather just have a 7-0 game. But, you know, if that's the way it's got to be, it sure was fun to watch.
You know, the one thing I think, Jade, was how are you going to match up front? I mean, Minot had 5 seniors. They're so big, so experienced. You got to play so many guys up there. But in the second half, it looked like they were the team that was wearing down a little bit, and you guys were getting stronger as the third and fourth quarter went along.
Yeah, I think early on, they were pounding us. And I think they scored their touchdowns early. Their first 2 touchdowns very early, first and third series, second and fourth series, something like that. And I think our guys, you know, were pretty quick on the offense, so we started catching some passes and getting some first downs and making a couple 4th down plays. And those are always the you know, those 4th down plays that you shouldn't be taking. If you get them, you look pretty good. If you don't look very good. But I agree with you. At the end of the game, we tried to run the ball and ran it extremely well, and they were tired. There's no doubt about it. When you pass rush, boy, there was a coach in northern Minnesota. I wish I could think of his name. I think it was Rainy River Junior College. He used to put his guys the offensive linemen about 6 feet apart and say, keep rushing, keep rushing. And then he said, as soon as their tongues started hanging, he goes, I knew I had them. So I think that was part of it. Andy is so shifty. You know, you got to run after that guy and run after that guy. And if you're not subbing, then it's hard to stop the run at the end because you just have nothing left in your legs.
An impressive 36-20 victory for West Fargo tonight. Coach, congrats on the victory and enjoy the bus ride back to West Fargo. For now, guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, guys. Again, West Fargo goes to Minot tonight, wins 36-20 there. Andy Gravdahl had that touchdown run in the first half. He hooked up with Dustin Mertz for a late touchdown pass, and then Jared Franick with a couple of touchdown runs, and West Fargo takes over in the second half to win.
I've talked to Jay Gibson before, and he always is very unconcerned about the first game of the year because it's not a conference game. They're getting their feet under them, but he's got to be happy going on the road and getting a big win against the biggest school in North Dakota right off the bat.
All right, we've got Jody Norstedt standing by in Fargo. He'll take us through all of tonight's highlights, but first let's get through the scoreboard. Some of tonight's selected ball games in the Dakotas, and starting in North Dakota with the big schools there, of course, West Fargo with that win. Bismarck Century, the two-time defending big school champions. West Fargo Cheyenne beats them 16-14. Century had a chance at a field goal late, but Cheyenne wins that ball game, and highlights coming up.
Jacob Olson got him into the end zone, but West Fargo Cheyenne, big home win, beating the two-time champs.
Bismarck Legacy over Grand Forks Red River tonight, 26-0 to get the season started, and Mandan thumps Grand Forks Central 40-0. Fargo South was leading Williston 28-0 last time we checked in on that one, so it looks like the Bruins are going to go on to win, and nothing yet. Fargo Davies and Bismarck, by the way, play on Saturday in Bismarck. Fargo North opens up with a win over Dickinson 23-9. Fargo Shanley had to come back late to beat Jamestown by a touchdown 14-7. Highlights of that one coming up with Jody Norstedt. In 2A in North Dakota, Bismarck St. Mary's, the defending champions in the class, thumped Grafton tonight 49-0 there. 2A, it was Belcourt TMCHS, that's Turtle Mountain Community. They are all over Valley City tonight, 48-12. Wahpeton beats Central Cass in 2A, 28-8, and Devils Lake over Watford City in a tight one, 19-12. In a interstate matchup, Groton plays in 11B in South Dakota. Ellendale Edgeley Culm is the defending champions in Class A in North Dakota, and they beat up on Groton tonight. Hillsboro Central Valley in Class A over Park River area, and in 9-man tonight in North Dakota, it was Thompson, the defending 9-man champions. They beat Hatton Northwood 50-14, and Hankinson over Richland 38-25 tonight, Jandy.
Great to see that first full slate of games under their belts in North Dakota, and not a lot of upsets. But right here you see Mott Regent had trouble with New Salem Glen Ellen, a team that made it all the way to the Dakota Bowl last year. And then a couple of really good teams, North Prairie and St. John. I expected this one to be good, and it really turned out to be a good one. North Prairie gets the win. I think they might be in Jody's rankings next week.
All right, some highlights coming up in a moment with Jody Norstedt, but let's get to some South Dakota scores tonight, and it was a mess in South Dakota tonight. The weather, there was a huge storm system that came through, covered almost the entire state, and a lot of these games are postponed after they got about halfway through. Washington and Brandon Valley will play Saturday out in Brandon Valley. Washington, the defending big school champions. Roosevelt is pulling away from Rapid City Stevens out in Rapid, and we've got some highlights of that one coming up in a little bit. Sioux Falls O'Gorman and Aberdeen Central, they are in the first quarter. They're just kicked off. They had the Hub City Bowl. Aberdeen Roncalli played first. They had some weather go through there, so those guys are just getting started with O'Gorman in the lead. A game that was suspended in the fourth quarter. Rapid City Central is leading Sioux Falls Lincoln at Howard Wood Field. They're going to play this one, finish it up on Saturday at noon. Mitchell and Watertown never got going up in Watertown. That game is postponed until Saturday at 7 o'clock. Harrisburg and Pierre. Harrisburg leads that 25-7 at halftime, and they're going to pick that up and finish it on Saturday. Yankton and Brookings got about 10 plays in, if even that, before that big storm system came through, so they're going to finish up at noon on Saturday in Brookings. Huron goes out to Douglas. Jet McGurr and the guys beat up on Douglas 45-7, so the Tigers off to a 1-0 start to the season. In 11A, St. Thomas More going to be good again. They'll play Saturday as will Belle Fourche and Sturgis out West River in South Dakota. In 11A, T area got out to a 28-0 lead on West Central. That game is at the half. That is postponed until Saturday at 2 o'clock, and they'll finish that up out in Hartford. Dakota Valley shut out Del Rapids tonight, 20-0. In 11B, Jandy, Bridgewater, Emory, Ethan, and Woonsocket. This game never got started, postponed it until 5 o'clock on Saturday. Redfield, Dolan, and Aberdeen Roncalli. That was the first game at the Hub City Bowl, and Roncalli rolls 46-0. Sioux Falls Christian goes up to Mobridge tonight, beats Mobridge Pollock. Christian is off to a 2-0 start. We've got some highlights of that game coming up. In 9AA, Gregory, the defending champions there. Parkston has the lead. That game got postponed.
How about that?
And they'll finish it up on Saturday at 7 o'clock in Parkston. In 9A, Howard and Canastota Freeman. Highlights of this one coming up. They were tied at 14 at the half, and that game will be finished up on Saturday. And Cologne's Cowboys, number 2 in 9B in South Dakota, with a big win to get it started tonight.
It will be interesting to see how these teams react after a suspended game. Usually you get a week to recover. These guys get less than 24 hours to recover and right back on the field with maybe some time for the coaches to reassess the way they want to attack the opposition too.
Yeah, it was a crazy night weather-wise, and again, we'll keep an eye on that game in Aberdeen with Sioux Falls O'Gorman and Aberdeen Central. Right now, let's go to North Dakota. Jody Norstedt joins us this season for Varsity Live. Jody, take it away, buddy.
You know, I wonder why our studio isn't just outside. I think we should experience the elements just like the players, right? Well, thanks, guys. The drive to the Fargo Dome in Dakota Bowl 25 is officially underway. You guys showed the highlights of that televised battle between two of my preseason ranked teams, West Fargo and Minot. But we had a buffet of other great games across the state. You could argue that in 3A, these cross-state games don't mean that much when it comes to the postseason. But you try telling these kids that. They're strapping on the pads for opening night. It's always good to have bragging rights between the East and the West. Now entering tonight, West Fargo Cheyenne had never played 3 teams as a varsity program. One of those teams was the team they were playing tonight, Bismarck Century, the 2-time defending state champs. Cheyenne opened the scoring with an early field goal, but Century fires back with its ground game. Nathan Kraft rumbles in for the short touchdown run. Patriots lead 7-3 after the opening quarter. Patriots with a chance to really do some damage midway through the second quarter in the red zone, but Elijah Charles jars the ball loose from Cade Rouser. The Mustangs recover at the 1-yard line. A huge momentum swing there. And where am I at? First time I'm a rookie, guys. I wasn't wearing the microphone. How about that? Okay, the Mustangs. Zach Westfall with the touchdown catch. Jeremy Newton getting his guys fired up, passing a little bit more this year. They're up 10-7 after that, going to the locker room. Then Jason Gallraff finds his groove on this drive, caps it off with a dazzling touchdown run to put Cheyenne in front 16-7 midway through the third. Century's All-State quarterback Jacob Olson got more comfortable as the game wore on. He finds Oliver Nelson, who makes a man miss and flies down the sidelines for the score, cutting the Cheyenne lead to 16-14 late in the third. It comes down to a late fourth quarter series for the Patriots. Watch this, 4th down and 10 in the red zone, but the pass from Olson is incomplete. But hold up, there's going to be a flag on this play for pass interference. So with it being just a 2-point game, Century decides to attempt a 25-yard game go-ahead field goal with about 20 seconds left. Cole Lyer has enough on it, but he pushes it wide left. Heartbreaking for Century. Cheyenne holds on for the 16-14 win, dethroning the 2-time defending state champs. Here's what wide receiver Zach Westfall had to say about the huge win. All right, here's the scoreboard first before we get to that. So Cheyenne with a big season opening win against Century. Boy, what a night for West Fargo. The Packers go out and beat Minot, and then Cheyenne takes down the Patriots. They threw the ball a lot better, threw the ball more than they have really since the program started just 3-4 years ago. Here's what Zach Westfall had to say about the huge win for the Mustangs.
Coaches put us in a great spot to win. Came out, executed our game plan, and knocked them off. It was nice to see the ball in the air a little bit. You know, last year we ran the ball a lot, but it's great to execute our game plan even more as we wanted to pass.
Well, last year, Bismarck Legacy picked up its first win in program history on opening night in a victory over Cheyenne. Tonight, the Sabres going up against Red River. The Rough Riders hoping that a veteran offensive line will make up for a lack of experience in the backfield. Red River with the ball early in the first. Sam Schumacher's pass tipped, picked off by Devin Beck. Legacy takes over. The Sabres capitalize on the turnover. Jason Hoekstra takes it himself from 20 yards out. Boy, he's going to be fun to watch this year for Legacy. Make sure you remember that name, Jason Hoekstra, and that's 7-0, Legacy up on the Riders. Same score early in the second quarter. Red River looking for the deep ball here, Vern Mears' squad, but Legacy's Noah L. Abledinger gets a great read on the pass, goes up and intercepts the pass. That's a big momentum shift just when Red River was trying to get back in it. The Sabres capitalize again, taking 10 minutes off the clock on this drive before Hoekstra finds Patrick Doan in the end zone. Legacy's up 13-0. Everybody on the road having success tonight. I guess Century didn't, but West Fargo wins out in Minot. Legacy looking really comfortable at Cushman. Late in the half, check out the one-handed touchdown grab by Austin Wolf, a good basketball player too. That extends the lead to 19-zip before halftime. Third quarter, the Rough Riders moving the ball. Nice catch here from Nick Wood on near the sidelines. Trying to get Red River back into this one, however, they would have to punt. But the pressure from Legacy gets to Red River on this punt. The Sabres are able to get to the punter, take one over in great field position. Again, Legacy working off a turnover on 4th and 22. 4th and 22. What do you draw up on 4th and 22? Hoekstra? Yeah, no problem. 26-yard pass right of the money to Austin Wolf again. Touchdown. Legacy rolls tonight, 26-0 over Red River. So a good start for Bismarck Legacy, who 2 years ago didn't have a win as a program. All of a sudden, things starting to turn around for the Sabres. They might be able to make some noise out there in the WDA. A new era is underway at Fargo Shanley as we jump into Class 2A. Former Fargo South head coach Troy Mattern making his debut in Deacon Red after taking over for Rod Oxendahl. Jamestown, who moved from 3A to 2A this year, trying to play spoiler on this night. Packed crowd. Deacons started the game strong with a first down. Talon Hofer. And by continuing with the strong passing game, they moved the ball down the field. Another big catch here by Jacob McKeever on 4th down. You'll see a theme in this. A lot of 4th down conversions for the Deacons. Things really took a turn for Shanley in the second one. A first down by Jake Cava puts the Deacons in position to make the first touchdown of the night. Check out this run. Cole Fredericks on 4th down. Huge play for Shanley, and the Deacons go up 7-0. This was quite the fight. Remember, Jamestown coming down from 3A down to 2A made this a ball game. The Deacons held their lead until the 4th one. Blue Jays Brant Fields intercepts a pass from Caden Kuhneman, leading to a Blue Jays touchdown by Zach Petrick as he finds the end zone. Deacons defense were able to hold the field the rest of the way, though, keeping the Blue Jays out of the end zone and keeping them from tying the game. Shanley holds on for the 14-7 win. Troy Mattern gets his first win with his new team. Here's what his quarterback had to say afterward. Actually, I'm doing this again. 14-7, Shanley wins it. A big victory for the Deacons. And as I mentioned, here's what his quarterback had to say after the victory.
It's awesome. It was a great team effort by everybody. We overcame some adversity at the end, which is good to see. And I'm just proud of all the guys. The linemen really did a great job. And we're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Those words from Caden Kuhneman. Over in Bismarck, defending 2A champs, St. Mary's taking on Grafton. First quarter, St. Mary's Cole Gendro finds Luke Cambites, who's flying into the end zone. First score of the game, 7-zip after the first quarter in favor of St. Mary's. Second quarter, the Saints quarterback Gendro again is going to hit Jonah Krebs. I swear, there are a million Krebs in Bismarck. And boy, they play really well when they're wearing blue. So Krebs is into the end zone. They go up 14. Grafton still scoreless here, and a bad snap coming up for Dalton Albrecht, and this is just a nightmare. And it's something that you get to see early in the season. A lot of missed reads, a lot of missed snaps, a lot of snafus, and it's St. Mary's football. Very next play for St. Mary's, Gendro's going to keep the ball and score from 13 yards out. Check out the speed on the quarterback. Look at the cuts back and forth, cutting up the rug over there in Bismarck at the Community Bowl. 21-0 St. Mary's at halftime. Third quarter opening kickoff to start the second half. And Jonah Krebs picks up the ball, and he is not going anywhere but the end zone. 78 yards, Krebs up the middle, number 13. All the defense sees is heels in the rear end of Mr. Krebs. Fourth quarter we go. St. Mary's Ben Schmidt runs the ball in to make it 42-zip. This one was all St. Mary's. His sophomore Joel Huber did not be denied either as he goes to Pater, jukes his way into the end zone. Check out this run by Huber. Boy, St. Mary's has some weapons, folks. They might be going back to the state title game, back-to-back state champions. We'll see. 49-0 is the final. St. Mary's all over Grafton in this one. The defending champs looking as strong as ever. And boy, I think Shanley can put up a fight in 2A. Grafton is struggling tonight. They'll get Shanley next, so it's not getting any easier for the spoilers. But St. Mary's with a big opening victory, 49-0. Well, some of the things that jump out to me, guys, the West Fargo schools both picking up big wins on opening night. That, I think, has a big impact. I like that North Prairie St. John score. I really thought St. John's was one of the top teams in the States, but North Prairie putting up a huge victory on opening night. Back to you guys.
Hey, Jody, before you go, I don't know if you can hear, but how about the reclassification of Jamestown? How much does that give them a chance to play now that they're back into 2A?
Well, I think you just saw it, Jandy. I mean, they put up a really good fight against a very good Shanley team. I picked Shanley as the number 2 team in Class 2A, and I think you're going to see the Jamestowns, the Devil's Lake, they're going to be competing just because they have the numbers. They have the guys to pick from. So I think you saw Jamestown make a pretty good impression here on opening night.
Good stuff. Thanks, Jody.
Jody Norstedt in Fargo tonight. How great is that, having him up there?
This show just got half as easy, or twice as easy, I guess. Not half as easy. You're doing great, Jody.
Half as easy working with you, whatever that means. All right, when we come back, we're going to get to the South Dakota games of the evening, some of which actually completed and have final scores, a lot of postponements, so we'll get you caught up on that. But South Dakota highlights when we come back on Varsity Live. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live here on Midco Sports Network, and let's get to the South Dakota games. First of all, it was another monsoon that went through South Dakota tonight that either wiped out a bunch of games, postponed them in entirety until tomorrow. A lot of them got going and then got postponed during play.
Nothing stops football, right, except for lightning. And there was lightning all over eastern South Dakota and northern South Dakota. So, yeah. We still got highlights, though. Plenty of stuff. Some of it was just before suspended.
Let's go to Sioux Falls Lincoln playing at Howard Wood Field. Rapid City Central in town, and this is a couple of teams with new head coaches. Eric Iverson at Rapid City Central, Jared Fredenberg taking over this year at Sioux Falls Lincoln. And we get here with Lincoln's got a good little running back. Not very big, not very tall, but he is good. Jesse Nelson.
Nelson played as a sophomore. He was a lot bigger than that. He has really trimmed down. Didn't play much because of injury last year. He's going to be a weapon for the Patriots this year.
All right, 7-0 Lincoln, and then Malik
jump
Red
pass. Love it.
Steps in front of that one for a Lincoln interception.
Nice. And then like you said, a lot of new coaches here. We had a lot of, I guess, sloppy plays.
A lot of new wrinkles for Rapid City Central. They're running an entirely new offense there. Central on a reverse there. Drake Gertis got on it for Lincoln. Lincoln followed that up with a fumble. Rapid City Central got an Isaac Iverson touchdown right before the half. They got a 2-point conversion from Jetson Olson. And Rapid City Central in the fourth quarter leading this game 8-7, and then the rain and the lightning and everything else came through, postponed it in the fourth quarter, so they're going to finish it on Saturday at noon, and they're going to play it at McEnany Field, O'Gorman's home field.
2 days, 2 different places.
All right, so that one's going to finish up on Saturday. So is this one. Harrisburg hosting Pierre in an 11 AA game, and these are two highly regarded teams coming into the season.
Well, anytime you have junior quarterbacks again that come back as seniors with experience, you're going to be highly rated. There was Hunter Headley right there, Peyton Zabel, one of the best in the state for Pierre.
Yeah, Maxfield with a Pierre interception there, and then Pierre's driving here. Zabel fumbles though, and Harrisburg's got it inside their own 5-yard line. And you got Headley at quarterback. You got Jack Anderson, big number 30, running it for Harrisburg.
I love that, the little fake throw as they give it to the guy up the middle. And Harrisburg defense creates offense for this team, and that is the case in this one.
And then they fake the jet sweep there. Headley right up the middle, and the Gavin is not going to get him. That's about a 40-yard touchdown as he clips in there. 6-0 Harrisburg in the lead. flip it around, second quarter. Jack Anderson and the flowing locks.
He runs violently.
Taken down just outside the 20-yard line. And then Headley is going to go to Jai Rowers, a sophomore who they think is going to be pretty good, and that's a touchdown.
Hunter Headley has done a nice job of managing this offense over the last couple of years. He can be a threat with his legs, but this time buys enough time and is a threat with his arm.
How about this move by Rowert there? Jack Rayburn is another sophomore for Harrisburg, and he goes 71 yards on this one to make it 19-0 Tigers.
Yeah, not only do they have so many guys back, they've got some new guys like Jack Rayburn who can really burn. This Harrisburg team looks great.
Rayburn had a kickoff return for a touchdown that went 75 yards. Peyton Zabel did hit Jack Maher with a touchdown for Pierce only score here. 25-7 is the score at halftime. And again, they suspended this one. They're going to finish this game up on Saturday in Harrisburg with the Tigers leading 19-7. All right, let's go to 11A, Jason.
Look at the Mobridge.
All right, let's skip 11A. We'll come back to that. 11B, Sioux Falls Christian already 1-0. They beat Winter in the opener. Mobridge Pollock is 1-0 with a big win over Redfield Dolan. And this is Parker Nelson with a touchdown run for Sioux Falls Christian.
I think Sioux Falls Christian's going to make their name just beating the ball down the field. And they've got a better line and some good backs this year. Watch out, Chargers are playing well.
How beautiful it was in Mobridge for this game, and that's
it wasn't an hour before this, by the way. It was pouring.
That was a catch there by Reese Cerny for Mobridge Pollock. They couldn't get anything out of that though. And then Nelson goes back to it. Parker Nelson is 5'11", 160 pounds, and fast. 83 yards on this touchdown.
Sioux Falls Christian is a team to be reckoned with in 11B. Mobridge Pollock played a pretty good game, but this Christian team could threaten for a title this year.
And Mobridge Pollock comes back though here. A 65-yard touchdown. That is Michael Davis on the receiving end to make it a 16-7 game. And then Parker Nelson trying to get in again, but the ball's on the ground, and Michael Davis, who just got that touchdown, gets on it for Mobridge Pollock, so they get the ball back here. But they try a screen pass, and Jake Reinisch with an interception. That's a safety for Sioux Falls Christian. They lead it 18-7 at halftime, and then they go from there. Jacob Just with a touchdown in the second half. Parker Nelson added another one from 75 yards out. He had a 75 and a 50 and an 83-yard touchdown run in this game for Sioux Falls Christian, and they win it 36-7. Christian gets to 2-0, and both of these teams are idle next week. But Sioux Falls Christian coming down from 11A. They get their first two wins. Let's go stay at 11B here, Jandy. This is game one of the Hub City Bowl with Redfield Dolan taking on Aberdeen Roncalli. They had some weather go through even before this thing got started, so that's why that late game is still going on up there. But Brady Morgan was involved in a lot of things. He fumbles twice on this play, and Caden LeBrie is on it for Redfield Dolan.
I was really curious to see what Aberdeen Roncalli looked like coming out of the gate. They are ranked number 2 in our latest poll. New coach, a lot of new players, but a lot of talent coming up, and you see it right there. Always setting the tone on defense.
Yeah, they look pretty good after that opening fumble. That's Brady Morgan who fumbled. This is the next play after that, and that is a pick six that goes about 60 yards. And Roncalli's Cavaliers off and running. They lead 7-0 after the extra point there. And then Brady Morgan hooked up a couple of times. That is a beautiful throw to Grant Gunderson. Goes 58 yards, and it's 14-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, they can throw the ball a little bit. They are known for running the ball up the field, but it's nice to get one of those that you can get beyond the defense.
Same two guys. This is the second quarter now. That is a beautifully thrown football from Brady Morgan. Gunderson again, 30 yards out, 20-0 Aberdeen Roncalli at halftime, and they blow it open in the second half, Jandy, and win 46-0.
Yeah, Gunderson is a very good player, and I think you're going to see more and more of Brady Morgan. And this Aberdeen Roncalli team, they're another team in 11B. It's a true contender.
You got them number 2. This is the statewide poll. They're number 2, number 1 in 11B.
Yeah, number 1 right now is, you put me on the spot. It was Winter. They lost, and somebody else took that spot from them, and I will think of it in 1 minute.
Well, it might be Roncalli next week.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Parkston, South Dakota. 9AA game. Gregory at Parkston, and there were some spooky skies as this game got along. Parkston, by the way, was in 11B last year. They're playing in 9AA this year. Gregory's the defending champions in this class, but Gregory did not look particularly well early on. A couple of early turnovers.
Yeah, we know about the talent in Gregory, just not sharp to start things out. Andy McCants can throw it on a dime, though. We know that.
Some really good receivers. Blake Bowes with a reception here, but shortly thereafter, McCants through his hands, and he can't get on it, and Braden Leishner gets on it for Parkston.
He's a good player. All conference last year, one of the best players on defense in Parkston.
Well, how about Tulsa Janish? About 6'2", takes it in there. 8-0. Parkston gets out to the lead in this one against the defending champions. And then Gregory trying to fake punt here, and the Trojans are all over it. Dawson Semler in on the tackle there for Parkston.
Another very strong player, great wrestler, and he plays great on defense as well.
And Parkston was just kind of rolling along here. Another big run by Janish. And they were in the lead when this thing got called by Lightning, so they will have to finish it up on Saturday. They're going to do it at 7 o'clock to finish this game up with Parkston in the lead, 8-0.
Don't forget about Parkston. They came down from 11-man to 9-man football. Everybody's talking about Gregory and 9AA. I know Parkston lost last week, but it was only by one score to a very good Bonholm team. I think these are teams that are going to be contenders late in the playoffs.
All right, and 9.
By the way, Bridgewater Emory Ethan, there's your number one team in 11B.
All right. And I believe they got didn't even get their game going tonight, so they're going to play on Saturday. Bridgewater Emory Ethan in 11B.
This one I was looking forward to.
9A here, Jandy. A couple of teams that have done it in the past couple of years. Howard and Canastota Freeman. Scott Jolly is back for his senior year for Canastota Freeman.
Yeah, that's a huge weapon for them. This year they got a little more contribution from Freeman in this co-op. They got 12 players from that town. So a little more depth on this Canastota team, but a lot of power on this Howard team that they were all sophomores last year. Now they're all juniors and looking pretty good.
Mitch Kramer to Michael Hofer there for a Howard touchdown. The Tigers get into the lead, and they complete this pass, but there is Jolly knocking that away. Jolly on the spot, and Canastota Freeman's got it back, and they regain the lead on this play. Trey Ortman, a sophomore quarterback, and that is a great throw to Charles Harberts to put Canastota Freeman back in the lead, 14-8.
Harberts has some speed as well. A lot of speed on this team and a little bit more depth, but Howard's got the power. They go to Michael Hofer a lot. He did get hurt in this game later on, but he's going to be a very, very big weapon for the Tigers this year.
That is Zach Party with the touchdown, tied it at 14.
That's why it was in, yeah.
You got Party and Hofer with touchdowns there for Howard, and at the half, they are tied at 14, and they will finish this game in Freeman, I think, is where they played this game, and they'll pick it up at noon on Saturday. How about some bonus 9-man coverage tonight in Oneida? Sully Butte and Harriet Selby. This was in Selby, all right.
We got out there tonight. Thank you, Christian.
Sully Butte's leading 14-6, and they get going here. This is Devin Clevin to Nick Whitler for a 20-yard pickup. And then a couple of plays later, Clevin shovels it to Morris Hofer, and he goes 5 yards, gets the Chargers on the board, and they would get on the board quite often, get to the fourth quarter here. Sully Butte adding to the lead. Clevin does it again, this time 1 yard on the keeper.
Clevin had a big year last year, and now he comes back as a leader this season. This is a team in 9B that could make some noise. Another class that has some contenders with Coleman Egan and Cologne, but don't be surprised if Sully Butte makes it deep into the playoffs, maybe as far as the semifinals or even further.
Yeah, flip that score around. It was Sully Butte winning that game 40-6 over Harriet Selby tonight. Let's go to Rapid City, Jason.
Yes, let's check out these Roosevelt Rough Riders.
Falls Roosevelt taking on the Stevens Raiders in the opener for these two squads. And Roosevelt on the opening drive, they're going to use a couple of quarterbacks apparently this year. Carter Lohr was the starter. He goes 4 for 4 on the opening drive.
Nate slips.
And Varn slips down there, but they get a Nick Hoekstra touchdown out of it. Tegan Heckel. Look at that catch by Michael Norman.
Just dropped it.
And he could not get it, and it's still 7-0. And then Carter Lohr to DeMario Hester, who had a couple of touchdowns.
That's his specialty. Catch it in the flats, make people miss. It's kind of nice to have weapons like Nate Barnes and DeMario Hester, isn't it?
The Riders leading 14-0, and then Heckel starts driving them here. Get a catch there, and then Damon Wirtz with that grab, and then Heckel will go to Alex Weaver for a touchdown coming up here to get Stevens on the board to make it 14-6. But big kick return here on the ensuing kickoff by Nathan Barnes.
Nathan Barnes is so fast. He is even quicker. When you're talking about lateral movement and changing direction, nobody better than Nathan Barnes, and he's going to be a huge weapon for this Rider team this year. And here's Brady Dannenbrink coming in at quarterback, the sophomore, finding DeMario Hester. He's going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years as well. So a lot of different talented players for this Rider team. But I'll tell you what, Stevens played him pretty well for the first half and hung with him. I think they can make some noise out west before this thing's done.
Nick Hoekstra had a couple of touchdown runs for Roosevelt. You saw those Hester touchdowns. Tegan Heckel went to Michael Norman for another Stevens touchdown to get him that 13. But this game, I believe now, is final, 53-13. Roosevelt over Rapid City Stevens. Let's go back to 11A. Jason and T, the runner-up last year in 11A to Madison at West Central to open things up, and T just took it to him in the first half here. Hunter West to Trevor Cox to make it 14-0.
I got to make a point here. T lost some stars from last year's team, and some people marked them down a little bit for that. They do have 5 linemen back. Here's one of those linemen right there.
Blake Ems is 5'8", 250 pounds. He's a lineman. He scores the touchdown, 21-0. T area out to the lead, and then West goes to Carter Slykehouse, who is a very shifty, good wide receiver to make it 28-0.
Great receiving core in T. Hunter West throws a nice ball. They've got a lot of talent. This T area team is not just a one-and-done program. They're going to be good. West Central has time to make adjustments now. They get to play a second half in this one. They've got speed on their side. They're going to have to reassess how they attack this Titan team. But I'll tell you what, the Titans are for real. And when you have 5 linemen back on the offensive line, people don't take that into account very often. A quarterback like Hunter West can get it done when he has time. And the receiving core that they have in T, they're, like I said, they're going to make some noise in 11A.
All right. Devin Gary did get a touchdown late in the half there for West Central. 28-6, though, T area leading. And again, they'll finish that game up at 2 o'clock on Saturday amongst a ton of other games that got started on Saturday. So when we come back, we will throw it around, get to our zone coverage. We'll go back to Jody Norstedt of North Dakota and get some post-game reaction from some of the games up there tonight.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Yes.
All right, welcome back to Varsity Live. And a quick update from Aberdeen. That game between Sioux Falls O'Gorman and Aberdeen Central got started late. It was the second game of that doubleheader up there. They got all kinds of weather coming through. O'Gorman has taken the lead now 21-6. Isaac Struck has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Kenyon Bauer. Bauer's got a touchdown run, and O'Gorman leading in the second quarter against Aberdeen Central 21-6.
That's a good team. This O'Gorman team is just going to get better and better with Jason Poppinga getting more familiarity with his offense, and the defense is good too, but Kenyon Bauer is a special player. He's one of the best playmakers we've seen in this state in a long time, and he's just a junior this year. Can't wait to see how he progresses throughout this season.
That game's going to be well after midnight by the time they get finished up in Aberdeen between O'Gorman and Aberdeen Central. Let's go back to North Dakota. Jody Norstedt rejoins us, and a little post-game reaction from some of the games in North Dakota tonight. Jody?
First off, guys, rule number 1, put this thing on. I didn't do that the first time. Anyways, so we had the big win for West Fargo Cheyenne, the big win for West Fargo. Fargo Shanley has another big win. Troy Matter getting his first victory as head coach for Shanley after coming over from Fargo South. A big move for him and his family. Here's what Coach Matter had to say after the win for his Deacons over Jamestown, 14-7.
Really, it was, I think, a combination of 2 different things. Dickinson was trying to break in 2 different quarterbacks who had never started at that position before, and Dickinson just being unable to stop Fargo North's rushing attack. Sean Swanson is a senior, and Coach was saying that Coach Adam Rowland joked afterward that based on his performance tonight, maybe they should have given him a couple more carries last season, but they certainly worked him quite a bit this evening. 29 carries for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dickinson just didn't really have an answer for that.
Actually, that was Parker Cotton. That was not Troy Mattern, but Parker Cotton talking about North's big win, 23-9 at Dickinson. So Fargo North, another one of those teams, the EDC doing pretty well. Legacy had the big win at Red River, but a lot of these EDC teams picking up wins tonight, and it'll be interesting to see the West versus the East. Again, that'll line up next week, and we'll get to see how that plays out. But here, I believe we have Shanley's Troy Mattern talking about his team's big first win over Jamestown.
We're proud of our kids. We tell our kids you got to win the fourth quarter, and they won the fourth quarter. We faced a lot of adversity, and what we face tonight will go a long ways throughout the whole season.
It's a big win for Mr. Troy Mattern. And it's weird seeing him in red, guys. Obviously, had so much success at Fargo South, won some state titles, but now he's in red and doing some big things for Shanley. So I'll throw it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Jody. In Fargo tonight as he joins us this year on Varsity Sports Live. And just to recap a couple of those games up there tonight, West Fargo over Minot, 36-20. And West Fargo Cheyenne knocks off Bismarck Century, the two-time defending champs, in North Dakota, 16-14.
Yeah, a couple of early season battles. We'll see how these teams change. I think AAA is going to be very close this year. But getting back to looking at Troy Mattern, he looks a little bit weird in red. I agree. He just doesn't look quite right. But I'll tell you what, he's going to do a great job over there with the Deacons.
All right, we've got some highlights, I believe, from Aberdeen Central with O'Gorman up there. And they were, of course, delayed by several hours in this game by the weather. And there was a game before that between Aberdeen Roncalli and Redfield Dolan. And I believe that is Swisher Field in Aberdeen, Jandy. And
how about the uniforms?
Fancy. Silver. I like them a lot. Can't tell who's who in this game, though, between O'Gorman.
I'm pretty sure that's Canyon Bauer.
Isaac Struck takes over at quarterback this year with Hunter Thompson, now in the college ranks. And Struck to Canyon Bauer on that first touchdown.
Nice job by Struck that time, getting away from the rush. But nice job by Aberdeen to come up with the interception and change the momentum.
The Golden Eagles would get a Preston Barr touchdown here midway through the second quarter to get on the board. And then Bauer with another touchdown, and Struck and he connected again to make it 21-6 is where they stand in that game with O'Gorman and Aberdeen Central right now. And again, there's a big game coming up in South Dakota in 11 AAA with Sioux Falls, Washington playing at Brandon Valley on Saturday.
Yeah, well, there'll be several games on Saturday now. We thought there was going to be one big one. There's
no college games going on yet, so
there'll be like great. 15 games across South Dakota to check out. But let's talk about that Brandon Valley, Sioux Falls, Washington game. These two teams met in the Dome last year as the two best teams in the big class in South Dakota. But one team looks a lot different, and one team looks almost the same. Washington brings back a quarterback, their leading rusher, a couple of great receivers in Shiloh Flanagan and Logan Utek. Their best kicker that they've had in a while was Brock Walker. Defensively, maybe the best defensive player in the state in Seth Benson. A loaded squad, and we didn't even get to their FBS player, Will Farniak, who's leading up the middle. Zach Hines is going to play FCS football. The list goes on. Plenty of good players for this Washington team. Meanwhile, Brandon Valley has a little quarterback controversy. They've got 3 guys in the running for quarterback. We'll see who they go with tomorrow night as their starter, but that could change throughout the season.
A couple of them are sophomores.
A couple are sophomores, and they've got a senior.
There, but they've got Braden Peterson, Cade Tervier, very good running backs back at Brandon Valley.
Yeah, Cade Tervier is maybe the best defensive player. When I talk about Seth Benson being the best defensive player in the state, Cade Tervier probably gets a little growl on his face because he's right there with him as far as the best. And then Braden Peterson, maybe the fastest running back in the state. So a lot of talent on the field playing in the Pigskin Classic in Brandon tomorrow night.
And Washington's going to be scary good, though. We'll see how that game comes out. All right, when we come back, the rundown, one big play from all of tonight's highlighted games. And we'll get you set for what's coming up live on Midco Sports Network in the next week.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live here on Midco Sports Network, and we'll get to the rundown here in a minute. There's an incredible interception by Peyton Lamore from Minot that we didn't see in the highlights that we'll get to see here in the rundown. But Jandy, the rankings, everybody loves rankings in high school football. You used to do your own separate of what the sports writers and the media people did, but
we all got together
everybody
this year.
came together this year?
We had about 4 different polls, really. The newspaper had their own. A couple of media outlets had their own, and then I did my own just because, I'm kind of a brat. I just wanted to do my own thing.
Which was great, but
a
lot of times you didn't agree with the others. But
yeah, and I can still disagree. Let's disagree with this poll. Right off the bat, you can't disagree with Washington, Roosevelt, and then after that it gets pretty blurry. I did not have Aberdeen Central in my original top 5. But the rest of these are pretty acceptable, pretty palatable. I think it's going to be a race between the top 3 teams. Mostly it's going to be race between Washington and history.
What if Rapid City Central ends up beating Sioux Falls Lincoln? Do you put them in the top 5?
I would give them a vote.
Okay.
Because I think I had Lincoln as my 5th team.
11 AA. Harrisburg is leading Pierre in that game that's going to get finished up on Saturday. Right. Mitchell and Watertown never got going, so we don't know what Mitchell's got again this year, but what do you think?
This one I disagreed with Mitchell being so high. They've got a lot of starters to replace. I had Pierre at number 2. I did not have Douglas in my top 5, and tonight they lost to Huron and showed why.
Huron's 1-0. They beat Douglas 45-7. Madison, West Central, T area again leading West Central 28-6 at halftime.
Yeah, I was surprised. I knew T was good. I had him at 3, just like the poll here, but looks like we might have to flip that around with West Central.
Dakota Valley not in there. They beat Del Rapids tonight. 11B, Bridgewater Emery-Ethan is the number 1 team.
Yes, they are the number 1 team. Winter was good coming in. They had that huge streak of wins for 2 consecutive years, but after losing in week 1 to Sioux Falls Christian, there's no room for him. You got to go to the Seahawks at number 1.
Christian's already 2-0. Bridgewater Emery-Ethan plays Woonsocket Wessington Springs Sanborn, by the way, on Saturday. 9AA Gregory is in a battle with Parkston in that game that got suspended.
Yeah, I still had Parkston in my top 5. They didn't make the media polls top 5. I think they're showing that they're a really good team.
Quickly to 9A and 9B.
9A, Canastota Freeman is going to be good. I had Howard number 2 in my votes, and I think, again, they're showing that they are just as good a team as anybody in this class. And then in B, you got 2 state champions in this class. Coleman Egan coming down from 9A to 9B, and Cologne trying to defend their title.
All right, let's take a quick look at North Dakota here, James.
Yeah, these are Jody's rankings. So he's got Century at number 1. They've already lost one. In AA, you see St. Mary's at number 1, and that's where they're going to stay pretty much the rest of the year. In A, I thought maybe Ellendale Edgeley Cullum would be his number 1 team, but he's got Beulah up there. And then in 9-man, we already had Cavalier and Thompson square off in week 1, and that was a great game. Austin Erlob is out, so that could affect Cavalier a little bit.
All right, let's get to the rundown for week 1, and one big play from all these games we had cameras at tonight. West Fargo at Minot, and this was that interception by Peyton Lamora.
Dig it. Can you dig it?
Lamoureux, nice job there. West Fargo wins that game, though. West Fargo Cheyenne beats Century tonight in a bit of an upset, 16-14. Jamestown at Shanley.
Jason Gullrap's good. Jason Hookster's good. A lot of Jasons that are good in North Dakota.
Excuse me, Legacy with the shutout win there. Now we get to Jamestown and Shanley.
This was a good game. I'm really glad to see Jamestown competing in AA with schools their size.
Grafton and St. Mary's, Bismarck St. Mary's rolls here. Jonah Krebs with a kick return touchdown.
Yeah, remember Noah Krebs was good a couple years ago. We got another Krebs sighting in Bismarck. Good job by St. Mary's.
In Sodak, this game suspended in the 4th quarter, but Jesse Nelson with a touchdown run there for Lincoln.
Yeah, he'll be a weapon for the Patriots.
Roosevelt and Stevens. Varnes had a big kick return. He had a big something
big
here.
Week for Varnes, and he also declares he's going to USF, so congratulations on your future decision.
Roosevelt rolls out there.
Devin Clevin and company at Sully Butte are really one of the best teams in 9B. They showed it tonight.
This game suspended at the half, and
sophomores that can run.
That is Mr. Rayburn. Jack Rayburn had a couple of huge runs tonight for Harrisburg as they lead Pierre in that game that got postponed until Saturday. T-area thumping West Central.
How about that? I don't think Kent Mueller is very happy at halftime. Down 28-6 on his home field, especially with a team that's as talented as his this year. And Sioux Falls Christian picking up where they left off last week, taking down Winter this week. Mobridge Pollock, their victim.
Parker Nelson, 3 long touchdown runs in that game for Sioux Falls Christian. Aberdeen Roncalli 46-0. Brady Morgan looks very good. He had a pick six here and a couple of touchdowns.
Starting to buy in on the Cavaliers. I think that might be pretty good.
Gregory and Parkston, again, they're postponed, and they'll finish up on Saturday, but
Parkston will do well moving down to 9-man football. They've got enough depth to compete with the rest of the class.
all right, see you next week on Varsity Sports Live.